What's up, guys? Joe with Odyssey Off-Road here. We're here in the garage with my brother Chris, and we're in his garage today. He's got the Scrambler. You guys probably seen the video we posted when we picked that up, and he got some Quadlogic LED headlights for this thing. So we're going to kind of give you the rundown, the before and after, what they look like. Right now we have the Quadlogic ones temporary hooked up, and they're just kind of chilling on the tires there because I want to show you. There's one thing you need to do with these lights before you actually install them. You have to actually switch the wires on the plug harness. And the reason for that is the way they're wired from the factory, for whatever reason, from Quadlogic. If you put your low beams on, you have high beams. And once you put your high beams on, it switches to low beams. So you have to just switch. It's not that big a deal. You just pull the two wires out of the plug, pull the pins out and switch them. And we've already done one, so we're going to show you why you need to do it. So Chris, you want to flip the power on and then put it on low beams, and we'll show them. So I don't know how good it's going to be on camera, but you can see. So right now we have the low beams on. Now switch to the high beams, Chris. And you'll see they swapped, right? So high beams should be now, that light is brighter. That light actually dulled. The high beam was on when the low beams are on. So now Chris, switch it back to low. And you'll see that one went to high beam. So that's why you got to swap the wires. So the wires you're going to switch are right here. You just do it on the plug side don't do it on the factory side, do it on the plug side for the light. So just this yellow wire and the green wire, you're going to just pull those pins out of the plug on the light side and swap them, put them back in, and then when you plug it in, it'll work normal. So let me get the factory headlights plugged in, and then I'll show you the difference in brightness too. We'll do a little brightness test. We'll make it dark in here. We'll show you the difference in lumens you get, how much more brighter is the new Quadlogic ones are. And the Quadlogic ones have like these daytime running lights on there, so these three here are always on. And then you have your projector beam in the middle that switches from low beam and high beam. But you'll have these outer three always running. You'll have some running lights on the machine too. So also you see there's the black bezels. They're much nicer looking light than the factory ones with just a plain halogen bulb and chrome bezel in there. So we'll plug these back in. We'll do a light test so you can comparison for the end. And then we'll show you how to swap the pin. He already did the one on the, like I said, on the driver's side, left side of the machine. So we're going to do one on the right side, and we'll kind of show you step by step. Get them installed and show you how they look. All right, guys, so my brother Chris is going to switch the pins. He's already done it on his other light. He's going to kind of talk you through. There's a little red piece in there you got to pop out first.
Tiny pair of pliers there. Pull it right out.
And then what'd you do in the other one, Chris? Just kind of push them through from this side?
The other one was actually easy. I was able to just push them out and it unclicked. This one seemed a little tougher, so we'll have to see.
All right, guys, so what you're going to want to do, there's a little, it's hard to get it focused, but right above the pin on the wire is a tiny little plastic tab. You can see the screwdriver is kind of right on it there. If you look in your plug, you'll just see, you can barely see it right there. You just want to lift that up just a drop and at the same time kind of push the pin through. So in this case, I'm going to be pulling on the back of the wire while he's lifting that pin up, and that's how we got the other one out. This one's a little bit more difficult.
Pulling the right wire?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear it clicking. It's just a matter of getting it held there. There we go. We got them. So now they're out. Now all you're going to do is put them back in the plug opposite way until you hear it click. Should hear it or feel it click. Yeah, you can hear that. You can audibly hear that click. Let's listen for the other one and you'll be able to hear it.
Give it a little tug. They're in there tight.
Perfect. So that one's all set. So now both plugs have the wires swapped. Remember, pull that little release pin up to pull it out. Be gentle when you're pulling because if you don't have it fully released, if there's too much tension and you're pulling, you'll pull the wire right out of the end of the pin. He did that to the first one, and we just had to resolder it back on. No big deal. But if you don't have a soldering gun and the ability to solder, you want to be delicate with the wires. You want to make sure you don't want yank them out. So then you're going to put that red piece in there. That's just a guide that kind of keeps the pins lined up straight, so when it goes into the female end of the plug on the vehicle, the pins line up. So we'll get the old lights out. We'll show you how they come out, just a few bolts. And then we'll get these new ones in, and we'll show you the light difference. All right, guys. So factory headlight's still in here. Factory headlight is out on the other side. He's working on putting in the aftermarket Quadlogic one. So I just want to show you how they come out. So obviously, you're going to squeeze the little pin tab and pop your wire harness off, your plug off. And then you'll see there's a little Phillips screw right there, okay? And then on the inside, it just kind of sits into a slot. I'll show you on the light that's out, but it just kind of sits in there. Once you take that Phillips screw out, the light just kind of, you can see it's not in there that tight. These are fairly light plastic housings. So it just comes right out. The new lights going in, totally different. You'll see on the plastic here, on the factory plastic, there's these holes. There's 3 of them. One there, and then there's 2 on top. And the new headlight housing has tabs, and they're actually going to self-tap and screw right into that, rather than just being held in by this little clip. Rather this little Phillips screw and the tabs, because it wouldn't support the new lights with it being LED, and you have the aluminum housing on there. It's much heavier, so you need more support, and so that's why it utilizes those. So I'll show you here. He's getting it installed on this side, and I'll show you the light that came out. And you can see side by side the difference. You see the tabs on the new one. Is the tab here, and the tabs on the bottom. Those 2 tabs there on the bottom, and then on the housing, the factory, there's no tabs at all. Just have that little thing that slips in here. So you'll see what I was trying to show you on the other side. This tab here on the light, when you take the Phillips screw out, you just kind of tilt the light out, and it just sits right into that notch, that little tab. So the whole light will just kind of then just pops out this way. So like that, and then out. And that's it. So we'll get the new one in, and we'll show you. So you can see now with this one out, you got 1, 2, and 3 spots where the new light is going to screw into and self-tap. So I'm trying to get them lined up here just to see. There's a little bracket you got to mount because these headlights fit different models. So you have the older Scramblers, the 850s and the regular 1000s, and I guess they have different mounting. These fit all of them. So there's this little bracket you got to put on that they supply you. It's a bracket here and a spacer, and then a nut and a bolt with a lock nut. So we're just trying to make sure we get that set up in the right orientation on the new light, so that it'll line up with the top. The top mounting hole basically doesn't line up with the light on the S model, so you need to add this bracket. So that's what we're testing now. So was our theory correct?
Seemed to go either way, but if you keep it this way, it's going to lean up more. If we put it the other way, it'll probably be a little more level.
So the instructions aren't too crystal clear here. It shows you the spacer on the back, so that's kind of what we're going with here.
It shows you for the Sportsman note too, with not even close to what we have.
Right.
No
So
1000 on here.
This doesn't list this model on here, so we're going to kind of hook it up the way it shows in the instructions and hope that once it's in there, it's right. So they advertise it to fit this machine, and it does. People use them, but I wish that they would update their instructions to show the differences between connecting them to this model as opposed to some of the other models here. So yeah, and update the pins on the plug. That would be nice also, or give you an adapter. One or the other would be nice. Yeah, they give you an adapter. So I don't know. We don't even really know what these are for. These adapters that it comes with, we're assuming they're for another model, but they don't work with this vehicle. So so that's useless for the S. We contacted them as well, and they said, yeah, don't use them. They're not meant for the Scrambler S model. All right, so problem 1. We got it in, lined up nice. It looked like it was fitting good. Went to put the last screw in. These are the screws they give you to hold it in. So those black tabs there I showed you earlier. So the one is going to go through the bracket that we installed on the light. However, you'll see, if I can do this with one hand, that the screw doesn't fit in the bracket. The holes in the bracket are too small. It's not really a bracket. It's just kind of a little piece of metal they machined to use. So we're going to put these brackets in a vise and open up the one side a little bit bigger to fit the screw and reinstall. All right, so they are installed, and we'll give you guys a better look with the lights on, the garage lights on, of how they went in. So that's the low beams. I'm gonna flip the high beams. And you can see the high beams. They're pretty bright. They look awesome. I'll get you from different angles here so you guys can see what the lights look like there. There you go. Now, I'll show you the brightness, and then we'll talk about the fit and all that, because that's going to be a little bit of an issue, is the fitment of them. So here we have off, low beams, high beams. So I'll put a clip in here of what it looked like with the factory lights. You guys can see the difference. All right, so this is factory low beams, and put on the factory high beams, Chris. And those are factory high beams. All right, so one thing I did misquote earlier is I said that these were daytime running lights. They're not. They actually go on with the low beams as well as the projector. And then when you flip the high beams on, you get, I'll show you, like that. Now when the lights are off altogether, that's how they look. So with the lights off, you can see there is a gap, and that's what we were talking about. So it's pretty obvious on the bottom. Now if you look straight on, you don't really see it. Up top here, it's a tight fit. If it looks good, but there is quite a big gap here. It's just the way they're mounted. I think there's some modification that can be done to get them to sit in there a little bit more, but that's not what their instructions say to do. So we installed them per their instructions. And so you can see how they're installed here, like we were showing you before on these tabs. Right, so you got the two. Now this way, the way they are, this is how the instructions show it. You'll see you have clearance there with the shock, but when the shock cycles, it does come very close to the light housing. All right, guys, film this after the video. Gonna insert it here. You'll see we did a little flex test, and the light is hitting the shock body, and there's still some suspension travel left. So the fender obviously has a little give in it, because it's just plastic, you know. So when you pull it away, you give yourself a little bit more space. So what's going to happen is that the shock's going to come up, it's going to hit the light housing, it's kind of going to push past it. It's probably going to just rub until something wears away. Probably the housing on the light will wear away, a little bit of a groove. But there you have it. There is clearance issues with these lights on the S. You can probably, my opinion would be, to make this fit better, these tabs here, grind them down, maybe a quarter inch, take quarter inch off them, even if you had to use shorter screws at that point, and then that'll suck the bottom of the light in more if you do those two tabs. We may end up doing it like that, because I don't know, my brother's kind of like me, I don't know if he's going to live with the gap like that. And then too, you'll give yourself some more clearance from the shock to the light. Now the wires, that's just got to be zip tied up. We just got to finalize that. We're going to put a couple zip ties up out of the way so they don't have to shock. But that's it there. That's the fit and finish of them. I don't know. They're expensive lights. You know, run around $200 for a set of lights. I would say with what you have to do to make them fit, I don't know. If it were me, I think I would just put LED bulbs in there and call it a day. It looks amazing. I mean, if you look at the difference right now, compared to the way it looked with those chrome bezeled, you know, regular lights in there, it looks terrific. It's beautiful looking right the way it is. It's the functionality and the fit. They weren't really truly designed for this vehicle. They were designed for the older Scrambler, and then they kind of just said, yeah, they includes all models, you know, one of those type of things. Yeah, they fit the S also, but it doesn't fit as good, I think, in the other Scramblers, where you don't get the Walker Oven shocks, and you have, you know, just smaller shocks, maybe on the 850 and the regular 1000. You don't have the clearance issues there. Maybe you do, but I can't imagine it's that tight on the traditional shocks with the 850 and 1000 Scramblers. So on the S, you have these bigger shocks, and there's a little more tight clearance there. And then the gap, I'm not really a fan of that. If they included maybe a bezel to fill that, it would be better. But I think what, you know, and if we do, we'll kind of update you guys. Just kind of grind down these tabs, and then it'll pull the light in, and you'll lose the gap, and you'll also increase the space in your shock body. So that's what I would recommend doing. We may do that, and if we do it, if my brother does it, we'll update you here in a future video. But that's it for the install. Again, would I recommend them for the money? I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to buy lights, have those type of clearance issues with the gap. You need to make some modifications to fix the gap. Plus, you have to switch the wires and the pins. It's an easy thing to do, but you shouldn't have to do that, spend that kind of money on the light. They should just give you either adapters or have them wired the correct way to begin with for this vehicle. They look great, and the light output is nice. So we're going to go with them the way they are. But if we change the way they're mounted there on the bottom and grind those tabs down, we'll update you guys in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It helped one of you is making a decision looking to buy these lights, or if you're still going to buy them, you see what you kind of got to do to get them to fit properly and all that stuff. So smash that thumbs up button on your way out, guys. Plenty more content coming on the channel. Big changes coming to the channel here soon. So make sure you subscribe to catch all that stuff, and share videos, you know. Appreciate you guys. More mods on the way for this sucker. You heard them.
In the box.
In the box. Oh, it's already here? They have delivered?
Being shipped.
Being shipped. All right. So we got a nice exhaust system coming. I'm not going to give any more info than that, but we got a nice exhaust coming for the Scrambler. Full exhaust. So we're going to get that installed. That'll be a great video. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Get out there, ride safe, and clean up after yourselves when you're on the trails. Keep them open for everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.